SelectaDNA is being produced in a very strict and controlled process where we add 2 different DNA codes to any Selecta product. Those 2 codes contain 2 variable areas that together make up the vast amount of possible codes that's been used to detect back the original product. If you ask how robust DNA is, the answer is it can be very robust. You can find DNA back from the dinosaurs from 1 million years ago. If you look at static DNA in the SelectaDNA product, there sometimes you only need it to be robust for a couple of weeks or a couple of years. In proper use of the product, this stability can be guaranteed without any problems. When we receive a sample for SelectaDNA analysis, we start first with examination of the property. This can be either a computer or in some cases a piece of clothing being worn by the criminal. This is examined by a special lamp with UV light to look at places where we can expect SelectaDNA to be found. And we cut out or use a swab to get some of this SelectaDNA off the product. Next step would be to extract the DNA and try to get the DNA in solution. It's important to clean up the DNA before we go to the next step, and this is an amplification process. In the amplification process we do basically 2 things. First, we try to get more of the product, but secondly, it's also a selective step. In this step we selectively amplify only SelectaDNA and not anything else that would be there. We check this last process by looking at what we call an agarose gel, which is no less than a procedure to look at DNA, to separate it on size, and to have a first impression if we've got SelectaDNA present in the sample. If so, we go to the last step, which is the DNA sequencing process, and where we look at the code that can be found in the SelectaDNA product, and we look at the variable code that is in the SelectaDNA. This code can then be compared to the database and be traced back to the original product. We're using the same type of equipment that is being found in almost all forensic labs. And this is the Sanger DNA sequencing process, usually being done by the ABI equipment that you will find in any normal molecular biology or forensic lab. And this makes it an easy to be accessed procedure and to be used by any lab. If you're new to DNA marking, you can compare this product, of course, to the forensic DNA testing that is done in a, say, CSI-like environment. It's sort of the same, but it's also, in principle, very different. If you look at the CSI procedures, you look at human DNA that is being databased and compared against the DNA profiles of 1,000 of convicted or non-convicted criminals. SelectaDNA is very much unique that you will match it against a database, but will only find one possible solution. It's unique in that matter. And this is the very special effect, this very special property of SelectaDNA. You can use it to mark your property and find it back without any doubt.